Hey, what's up, Xerath? How's it going, man? Just gonna play a little Lineage 2. See how this server is. We're gonna have to see how it is. This ought to be really interesting. Let's see. Hopefully, it'll take this. Not, we'll have to use my email. For some reason, the account name didn't want to stick. I hope this works. It should. Oh my god. That should have worked. Don't you love these private servers? I mean, I'm literally logged into my account on the server right now. Oh, I forgot. You know what they do? They put a NA in front of your name. I don't know if that's required. Let's find out. I hope that's all it is. Oh, crap. That's not it either. Son of a biscuit. You know what? I should have tested logging in. But the thing is, I actually am logged into their website. Here, let's log out of the website, and let's make sure we can log back in. Okay, username or email address. I hate it when I create like a private server account, and it makes you go through creating the account, then you go to the website, you log into the website, and then you download the game, and then you log into the game, and it says this isn't the right password. I'm like, wait a minute, I just logged into your site with this account, you know? How could it not be right? Yeah. Let me try. Yeah, I can log right into the website. Yeah. Yeah, this is how's my wife? She's doing good. She's doing good, Sarah. She's doing better. Her blood pressure's been too high. Last couple times she's been to the cardio rehab, so I'm not sure if they're just gonna adjust her medication. But she's doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. She's asleep right now in the other room. I hope that she gets better. You know, I'm worried about her, but you know, what can you do, man? She's doing everything she can right now. I don't really know how to log into this site. I mean, I can log into their website, and that's the account I used to download the game. So I don't know why it's not letting me log in. Let me see. And this server is like if you go here, here's my account. I don't want to show you guys all that information. There's not really much to see. Here's my email address, but I mean, I'm logged in. Yeah, I don't really know if there's some other. They don't really have a lot on their website. It's l2reborn.org. They don't really have any information about like how to play the game. Like a lot of sites will say, well, you need to do this or this, but I don't really see any kind of information that says just like, you know, this is how you play. I don't remember how I got the login. Let me check and see if it was in my email. There was something in my email. It says download the game. You can find instructions to download the client, the patch here. Okay, well, I downloaded the game. Installed the game. I activated. I already verified my account. So I'm kind of at a loss right now for as to why I can't log into this. To extract the game. Log in with your forum credentials. Oh, it says log in with your forum credentials. I really... What are the... Is there even a forum? Here, let's take a look. It says log in with my forum credentials. Well, I don't really see a forum. These are the servers they have. They have the Origins, the Enhanced, the Season. I am set up to run on the Origin server, which is a 1x rate, which means it'll take me like 6 months to get to max level if I were to play like 8 hours a day. probably, which is fine. If you go to, there's rules. Let's see if any of these go into like a forms. I don't see a forms. It says log in with your forms password. I don't even see. Oh, they're using WordPress for the site. That's cool. WordPress is decent. Yeah, I do not see like forums. And they have a Discord, Facebook. I don't know what this is. Instagram. They have an Instagram. And then I'm assuming this is just their YouTube site. Okay. Got wiki, which here, class quest database guides. Good. Let's go to their support section. I don't see anything here either. Let's try closing the client and relaunching the client. And let's also see if there's anything in the folder here. Let's go look in this README. Settings and files placed. Settings can be modified to adapt the interface to player's preference. Nothing in here. In language. Reborn origins. The server. That's just telling us which server we're going into. Start, I guess. I hate it when servers do this. No, I didn't want to do that. Cancel. I want this server. Here you go. Okay, update, total progress, play. Well, this is disappointing that I can't seem to get into this server. I didn't anticipate this. Normally it's not too difficult. You download a client, set it up. Yeah, if I can't log in, I guess I'll have to hit, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe new account, create account, visit the web, okay, create new account creation. I've already done that. All right, so we have two different things. We have this, which doesn't seem to work. And then we have my email. Oh, see, now it's working. So sometimes I've seen that where it takes a while for the account to just verify or something. If there's something in the background process, or even having to shut down the server and restart the server. So anyway, I don't hear any audio though. So we have different servers here. North America East, awesome. And it says light traffic. Okay, I'm fine with that. Where's the audio? Is there no music in this game? Welcome to Lineage 2. Please click on the Create Character tab to go to the character creation screen. Okay. Graphics look pretty decent. Much better than the original version of the game. So here's the big question. Let's put some music on. So the big question, and if you guys didn't know, this is Lineage music that I'm playing in the background. Get us in the right mood. Okay, so we have to figure out what class, and I played forgive me for the bright white screen. This is just their screen. I played Lineage 2 on original launch. Well, not original. Yeah, I did. Actually, I played the Taiwanese beta of Lineage 2. I played the Korean beta of Lineage 2, and I played another, a Chinese. And I played 3 different betas of Lineage 2 before the US even released. But here's the different classes. And in Lineage 2, you have classes and subclasses. So you start off as you might pick the human race, and then in the human race, you'll pick maybe a warrior, right? Or possibly you might start off as a knight, or a rogue, or you might start off as a wizard, or a cleric. And then based on those classes, you can branch off into other classes. You have a lot of options. And Lineage 2 is mostly a PvP game, but they've got PvE as well. What's going to be really interesting is if they have, because Lineage 2 is a click-to-move game, but I've seen later versions of Lineage 2 that support the mouse. So I'm hoping it supports the mouse, but if not, I'm fine with that, because Lineage 2 was the first MMO I ever played, and I actually loved the game. But it was the first MMO I ever played, so it'd be like someone playing EverQuest 2 as or not EverQuest 2, but EverQuest as their first MMO. So it was a big deal, So looking at the classes I played, I always played the Dark Elves. So if you go all the way down to here, I played the Dark Elf race, and I played the Knight. Yeah, the Knight. And so I was moving towards the Shield and Templar. Here it talks about tank, sword, and shield user has access to cubics that can support the party himself. High damage compared to other tanks. Access to potent debuffs. Pros, cubics provide an okay benefits. He says okay. Has access to a good amount of debuffs. High damage compared to other tanks. But cons, low defensive stat when compared to other tanks. So overall, a bit of a slow leveling experience. Since this is a 1x server, I don't think we really want to go down that road. Now we look at the Knight. Then the Blade Dancer is actually a pretty good support class. I don't know about the Spectral Dancer, but support dual sword user, has access to dances and provides buffs to party members. Great support provided by the dances to both melee and mages, can do a decent amount of damage, and has access to a variety of debuffs. Has no issues fighting parties for experience, because you're buffing the party, which, you know, they're going to want you in their party, right? But overall, low defense. Expensive due to the need for dual swords to cast his dances. Can be boring due to play style. And then you get to the Assassins, the Abyss Walker, and the Ghost Hunter. The Ghost Hunter is probably the highest DPS class in the game as far as burst DPS. Highest base damage of all daggers. Can kill even when skills don't critically land. A deadly blow is a guaranteed one-shot. Can open chests for extra resources and has access to debuffs. The Ghost Hunter is just vicious damage-wise. So super vicious and super awesome in PvP. Same thing with the Phantom Ranger. Phantom Rangers are also really good. Archer bow user can deal a high amount of damage and deals super high damage with critical shots. Has access to pros, high damage, high base damage, can deal significant damage even when not critically hitting. Critical shots can one-shot rogue users. Has access to debuffs. Low mobility and HP pool. You can easily be caught up and killed by most melee. Expensive and slow leveling. And then you've got the mages. And this is I was a Spell Howler. The highest level class I ever got in the original Lineage 2 was the Spell Howler class. I think I was like level 40 or something. Or 38 or something. High damage. Can quickly kill anyone if lucky with critical hits. Great solo farm due to self-healing and self-mana regeneration skills. Cons, low cast speed, lack of mobility. I mean, these classes are good for like leveling, but they're really bad at like when the shit hits the fan, like, and you pull a lot of extra mobs. These characters, you're so squishy. You're incredibly squishy. At least in my experience, you were very squishy. And then of course the Oracle's like healer, buffer. So, you know, recharge makes it a great duo partner for any mage. Since it's a recharger, right? Can help people recharge their mana. Has very useful buffs for both melee and mage player alike. Fast leveling due to high demand. So people want you in their party. People want to team up with an Oracle because... So you do not want to solo. Like, if you're going to play an Oracle, you're not going to want to solo. Solo leveling on an Oracle would just be so slow, and it would just suck. Lack of damage for solo leveling. Falls off it later in game due to not gaining many more buffs after a certain threshold. And then you got the Orcs. Titan and the Grand Cavat. These guys are both the best levelers in the game right here. They both do very high damage. Best class for farming, has high offensive stats. These are best class for making money right here. Best class for farming. Has high offensive stats, gets more powerful, lower the HP. Also wanted for raids. Extremely fast leveling experience, easy to play and learn. So the Titan's probably a very common class in the game because of the fact that it's easy to learn, does tons of damage, and you're a great farmer and leveler. I haven't really looked at the Dominator of the Doomcry. I don't really want to play an Orc. And then I guess... And in Dwarf, we got this class, the Scavenger. These are the ones that are going to be, you know, going to spoil monsters to attain loot. And they're needed for material farming. So the one thing that's interesting about Lineage 2 is that you can't gather and craft on one character. Like when you think of World of Warcraft and how you can have one character could be like a miner and a blacksmith, you can't do that in Lineage 2. In Lineage 2, you have to have someone that's going to spoil the monsters to get the materials for crafting, and then you have to have the other person that's going to have the crafting profession. So those two players have to work together. That's why a lot of people will create two characters. One will be their spoiler, one will be their crafter. Or you want to get into a clan, which is basically a guild, and get people to help you get your materials if you're a crafter, or have someone craft if you're a gatherer. So it's kind of an interesting thing in Lineage 2, and I think it's cool because it makes you have to work with other players, so it forces you to build more of a community, which I think is really cool. I've never even looked at these Artisan, Warsmith, Maestro. This is another Orc thing, I guess. This says dwarf classes. I don't know. What are all these buttons? So you made your character, you're now entering the role Lineage 2. Before you go, here are a few quick tips that will help you smoothen your helmet. You can automatically use your soul shot, spirit shots by right-clicking them in your action bar. Once you're level 6, you get a free no-grade miniature weapon of your choosing from the Adventurer's Guide. You get a free D-grade weapon once you reach level 20. So they've given out some free weapons. That makes it a lot easier. And then these weapons are removed from your possession if you PK any player. Wow. So don't be a naughty boy. Wow. Once you're level 8, you can start getting buffs at the Newbie Guide. So even though this is a 1x server, they've put stuff in the game to help you. Your loan money, you have access to a free 5-minute long cast Scroll of Escape by using Unstuck. Use your skill points wisely early on. These are rough to acquire wisely early on. Those are rough to acquire early in the game. Pick up everything you see on the floor. You'll need every single Adina. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool guide this guy put together. Here's a Newbie Helper, and he's kind of showing you kind of how to start off and human quests, and they're showing you what quests for. Let's see. Okay, so this is kind of showing you like some starter quests that you don't want to skip out on. Very cool, very cool. So really the hard part here is, how do I know what class? I mean, how do I know what class? I did read that for PvP purposes, a Dark Avenger is a good tank, but it says they have a use of a Panther pet. I definitely don't want to play a class that has pets. Lineage 2 is hard enough to manage your abilities, let alone having to worry about managing your abilities and a pet. Best class for PvE, Human Cleric. Let's see. Best class for PvP. Yeah, this is... Any dagger class is the go-to PvP. Yeah, it's just that, they can attack from stealth. Orcs have no dagger. When they talk about dagger classes, they're talking about really like rogue-like classes that can attack from stealth and just do insane amounts of damage. I mean, we could be really cheesy and go with an assassin class, but I don't think I want to go with an assassin. I'm thinking of going. If you start, very important. If from start you choose a good character. If anyone interested here is a tier list of classes currently on the EU/RU version S, it's sure that we'll have other DK class balance, but for others for sure will be the same. PvP with all the books, get pictures. So he's saying Death Knight. What the hell's a Death Knight? What version of Lineage? Okay, a Death Knight, Dark Elf, Titan, Cardinal. I don't even know what a Cardinal is. Grant, let's see what Death Knight, Dark Elf is. And the Shillian Saint, that sounds kind of cool. I'm just looking at the Dark Elf, so there's a short. Let's go back to, I found a website earlier that had a list of all the class combinations. They have that. If they've got that on the Lineage, Reborn. If I can type. They actually have some quest guides in here too. Subclass quests. So they've got a lot of the quest information, but what I want is just a basic listing of the actual class. This isn't what I want. Oh man, I had it earlier. It's like I had a list of all of them. Ah, there we go. This is what I was looking for. So this will show you like basically like the race human, and then it'll show you what you start out as. So when you pick any of your races in Lineage 2, you start off and you're basically going to be like either a fighter or a mystic, pretty much in every race. You know, dark fighter, dark mystic, orc fighter, orc mystic. So that's what you start off with on every race. You start off as either a fighter or a mystic, which is basically you're going to be some sort of a melee damage dealer, or some sort of a caster damage dealer, or maybe a healer. And then your first job class, like for example, if you're a human, you can go warrior, human, knight, or rogue, right? And if you're a human mystic, you can go wizard or cleric. Cleric obviously being a healer, wizard being more of a damage dealer. I like the dark elf, so I usually go dark elf. And the one that I was looking at that they talked about was where was it? Here, the Death Knight dark elf. I've never even heard of that. So let's see if we can even find that. I don't even know if that exists. Yeah, I don't see it. So yeah, it must be a different version of the game or something. But I think Blade Dancer is kind of cool, an interesting one. And you've got Spectral Dancer, Shilian Templar. Of course, this website's so old. Yeah. Let's go back to let's close this one down. Let's just go back to the guide he had up here. So if we looked at the Dark Elves, and we looked back at this one here, we know that the Dark Elf can go Shilian Knight, Blade Dancer. So if we go over here, we've got Blade Dancer, Knight. Great support. The only thing is that he says it can be boring due to playstyle. That kind of turns me off. I'm like, I don't know if I want to play something that's boring. And I don't really want to be an assassin, even though they do insane damage. Archer bow users can deal high amount of damage. Normally can deal super high damage with critical shots. Slow leveling experience. Anybody who knows me knows I love sword and shield, sword and board classes. So, you know. Now the Dark Elf, low defensive stats. So if you go to, let's see, is it human? Or here's the elves. The elves have the Knight, the Temple Knight, and Ava's Templar. Here are the OK help party members. Low damage overall, slow leveling experience. What's this one? Knight, Sword Singer, Sword Music. Amazing support provided with the songs. Can boost both high value spells. Has access to AoE and single target deals. High defense, relatively easy to find parties for XP. Lacks a lot of damage, a big gap between learning and good buffs, slow leveling experience, relatively boring due to the playstyle. It's funny how a lot of these are similar. Scout, Assassin Dagger uses high base speed, high base stats, lacks overall damage, lacks damage compared to other classes. Man, it's like everybody lacks damage compared to other mages. Okay, well, let's go back to orcs. Maybe we'll play an orc. I don't really want to play an orc, but so far it's sounding like maybe they're better. Lacks mobility. Best class for farming is this. I don't want to play the class everybody else is playing, though. I hate that shit. Fortune Seeker. Somewhat low damage. Never useful in party environments. Extreme lack of damage. Man, it makes it... This thing makes it look like every class sucks. I mean, this one's good, but I don't want to play these because they're like the most common ones. Let's go back to my video here.
But it is very good with debuffs. And so for a raid boss party for a summoner, but Lord or Soul Life for ambitious types, and the first things that come later in the game. So are you okay grinding for month after month after month for that payday down the road that you know is coming, and it could be 3 months or a year away?
A year away.
Or do you want that instant gratification now of your class?
I'm fine with grinding.
With that said, let's go ahead and dive into the class types. And the first type, is Summoner. This class is great if you say, hey, I'm playing one character and only one character, and I work or I have school and sporadic schedule. I'm going to play 3 to 4 hours every day, but I don't know when, and so I'm not good in. I can't be in a constant party.
This is an interesting
I'm
video.
going to be on my own. Why summoners are so great is because you the player, are the buffer for your summon. Now, here's some different drawbacks and different things to think about. The pets are expensive. You have to use either Spirit or Soul or whatever to summon the pets, and it becomes an expensive way to level. You almost need a second character that's grinding up Adina for you so that you can afford to play the character. And then within the summoner classes, there's some different styles. The Elven summoner is the most popular summoner. It has AoEs, and you can round up a bunch of mobs and AoE them. The Warlock later gets a crit rate buff. It's very similar to the Elven summoner, but later it gets a crit rate buff, which is more desired in Archer or Dagger parties, where the Elven, for the cast speed and such, is more desirable in Mage parties. The Dark Elven is rare, the Phantom Summoner, but it is very good with debuffs. And so for a raid boss party, for example, I would choose a Phantom Summoner to debuff the boss. And there are some other classes that summon, such as the Dark Adventurer, or even a Warsmith has a summon. And those could be considered too, but these are your summoning classes. Okay. Next, very popular, is the Archer classes. Okay, so at the beginning of the server, Silver Rangers are going to be likely the most popular or the most useful Archer classes. They're the fastest, and they have self buffs. They have self windwalk, self shield, self might, so they can do more in those respects. Now, the Phantom Rangers are very nice. They're the most powerful of the archers. They hit the hardest. Also, they have a skill that I'm blanking on the name right now, but basically it allows them, when they get to low life, to do massive damage to the mob. And that is a way to level. It's a dangerous way to level,
dangerous
but it's
way
very
to level.
profitable because you kill in less hits, and it gets quite amazing with that class. And then lastly is the human, the Hawkeye. Those have the most HP. Those have snipe. They're amazing for sieges and other things. So, choose your archer class. But at the beginning, day one, the Silver Rangers, until buffers catch up and other things, would be the go-to class there. Next, we look at the wizards, and there are 4 wizards to choose from.
I was a spell howler.
And let's talk about that.
Back in the original game.
Spell singers, those are considered typically, before the Necromancers get up there, the best PvP class, because they're the fastest casting and so forth. They can interrupt others, nukers, and things of that nature. But the challenge is they're also the weakest. So what a spell howler can kill a mob in 2 hits, it'll probably take a spell singer 3 hits. So you have to be really extra careful about what mobs you choose. It's much harder to level a spell singer, but ultimately, in terms of PvP, it's a lot of fun. I played a spell singer back in Leona for a long time. Now, the Sork is very similar. It's going to be a good thing for the Queen Ant raids and so forth.
Oh yeah,
Beyond
the Queen Ants. I remember
really,
that.
It's similar. It's more powerful than the Spell Singer. It's faster casting than the Spell Howler. It's kind of the middle of the road thing, and I generally don't like middle of the road. It doesn't turn out so well in these games. Necromancers. The challenge with the Necromancers is it needs the Cursed Bones to cast its spell. It can still do Cursed Deathlink without, but otherwise the Cursed Bones are rare at the start of a new server. So it becomes more powerful later in the server. It's amazing because you have the transfer pain of the pet, but early in the server, I would not play a Necromancer. Later, once you have the higher level buffers, and you can start a new one, once you have the Adina, and once, of course, you have the Cursed Bones saved up, or there's skill introduced in the game, dark spells. Gear, your damage, as some spell singer cast, it crits a lot. The Dark Elf is amazing because of its backstab and so forth. Its deadly strike to kill in 1 hit. And then there's the Treasure Hunters with fake death and so forth. So, and it's a typical thing where the human has the most HP, the Dark Elf has the least HP. I won't go into too much other details here, as most people are familiar with them, but early in the game, daggers are a strong preferred class because they just go in front of the mob and hit. They have high evasion, they're quick. They're a very strong class early in the game. The other class that's here is the bounty hunters are considered rogues, but it's just really a different class to talk about. Bounty hunters have the spoil, so they're a great money-making class. They also have polearm masteries, so they can be in pole parties, and later they get mass spoils, so they're really good in pole parties. Some different things to think about there, and with fake death and so forth. Moving on, we have the warriors. Okay, this is where we have the tyrants and destroyers, which you've already seen, and many people prefer them because of the stats from the other server and so forth. But real briefly, tyrants are going to be the faster class, where destroyers are slower, but destroyers are incredible raid boss farming class. You get their HP low, they hit for a ton of damage, and that sort of thing. Warsmith, most people know and understand a Warsmith, but a couple things that people don't think of right offhand. One, they are summoners. They do have a summon they can summon. Two, they do have polearm masteries. In addition to that, they can make a lot of money crafting early in game, just sitting in town and being available to craft. Other than that, you have the Warlords and Gladiators. Warlords I love. They are a key AoE class. They are perhaps the optimal fast leveling PvE class. They can make some amazing parties where the Warlord just stands there, and let's say a BD and Swordsinger, they dance and sing, and then they run and pull a bunch of mobs to where the Warlord is, and you can just kill 20, 30 mobs at a time. Extremely efficient money-wise, extremely fast leveling. If you have a good party, nothing will beat a Warlord. Then you have Gladiators, which, again, I'm not a Gladiator fan because it's a mix. It's a mix between a tank and a fighter, and those mixes tend to not do as well in terms of they're jack of all trades, master of none type of thing, and other classes seem to fare better. Knights, which are tanks. Okay, let's talk about them real quick. The most popular tank is the Dark Avenger. Why? Because it gets a pet. So you want to go ahead and consider that. It's a popular character, and it's fun to play, and these other things. Temple Knights, they are the fastest. And so if you're going to say, hey, I have a Warlord party, I need a tank to pull, I'm going to want a Temple Knight just because it's fast. It can serve as a puller, and it has its heal cubic. Remember, the tanks have cubics and so forth. Some of them. So, that's something to think about. SK, you have the cubic for Paralyze, which is powerful. It doesn't always land. In fact, it has a low success rate, but there are things you can do to
when he says SK,
he's
talking about the Shillian Knight.
And it's a fun to play class. Excellion, our original ally creator and leader on Leona, he played an SK, and it was a lot of fun. And then lastly, the Paladins, which are many consider the truest tanks. They're the human tanks. They have the most HP, and they're the tankiest of the tanks. All right, so we got two class styles left. One is healers. Let's talk about them. The real true only healer in the game is the Bishop, later getting balanced life and some other things, the best reses in the game and so forth. Now, the Elven Elder, it will have the second best res, where the Bishop has 90%, the Elven Elder gets up to 80%. So that's a key class, plus it has the recharges, plus later the things like Clarity to reduce your
I want to go back to the SK again.
You have the cubic for Paralyze, which is powerful. It doesn't always land. In fact, it has a low success rate, but there are things you can do to increase the success rate. And it's a fun to play class. Excellion, our original ally creator and leader on Leona, he played an SK, and it was a lot of fun. And then lastly, the Paladins, which are many consider the truest.
Tank.
All right, so we got two class styles left. One is healers. Let's talk about them. The real true only healer in the game is the Bishop, later getting balanced life and some other things, the best reses in the game and so forth. Now, the Elven Elder, it will have the second best res, where the Bishop has 90%, the Elven Elder gets up to 80%. So that's a key class, plus it has the recharges, plus later the things like Clarity to reduce your MP usage is huge. and reduce weight is very useful, and it has all the defensive buffs, things like Blessed Shield and so forth. And then you
Wow, that
have the
sounds like a
Dark
good
Elf, the
class.
Shillian Elder. The
The
key
Elven Elder
buffs
sounds
there,
cool.
Empower is huge for all the mages, and then Vamp Rage is huge for all the melee classes.
Yeah, Vamp
So
Rage, yep.
that is just a very key character for many people for many reasons, and later getting Prophecy of Wind, which allows you to keep your run speed,
Keep your run
but
speed
still
up.
have some nice stats.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think people who play those mostly are decided, so I won't go into anything more there. And then lastly is what we call the Enchanter classes.
Buffers.
And me trying to see if I can adjust this slide up. Yeah, okay. So Prophet, very popular class at the start of the server. It's the standard buffer. It has all the buffs basically, and if you're not sure what class you want to go, you can start off as a Prophet, get it to 56, and then use it to power level any other character you have. It's a great, great class to have. In fact, that's a consideration for me. I'm still going through these classes and deciding. And, a 56 Prophet, you have all the buffs, and you're set until, if for a server with the level 70 cap, there's not going to be Prophecy of Fire or other things. Sword Singers and Blade Dancers are key classes. They're both, Blade Dancer especially is a very good, character on its own to solo and so forth, although you definitely want the buffs. But Sword Singer, you got the Hunter Song for more crit rate, you have Song of Wind for more speed, you have the Vitality Song for more HP and so forth. These are all key classes for leveling, for parties and all those other things. Lastly, let's get to the orc buffers. So you have Overlord and Warcrier. So the Warcrier.
So right off the bat, I think the classes that appeal to me the most is the Prophet, which is just a buffer, the Blade Dancer, which is kind of a buffer but can do some damage, and then I think the other healer classes, which was the Bishop and the Elven Elder. I thought the Elven Elder sounded pretty cool. Let's watch these again.
So that is just a huge and reduce weight is very useful, and it has all the defensive buffs, things like second best res, where the Bishop has 90 class, Excellion, our original ally. Lastly, the Paladins, which are many considered the truest tanks, the human tanks. They have the most HP, and they're the tankiest of the tanks. Alright, so we got two class styles left. One is healers. Let's talk about them. The real true only healer in the game is the Bishop. Later getting balanced life and some other things, the best reses in the game and so forth. Now the Elven Elder, it will have the second best res, where the Bishop has 90%, the Elven Elder gets up to 80%. So that's a key class, plus it has the recharges, plus later the things like Clarity to reduce your MP usage is huge. And reduce weight is very useful, and it has all the defensive buffs, things like Blessed Shield and so forth. And then you have the Dark Elf, the Shillian Elder. The key buffs there, Empower is huge for all the mages, and then Vamp Rage is huge for all the melee classes. So that is just a very key character for many people for many reasons, and later getting Prophecy of Wind, which allows you to keep your run speed, but still have some nice stats. And I don't think Rage Clarity to reduce your MP usage is huge, and reduce weight is very useful, and it has all the defensive buffs, things like Blessed Shield and so forth. And then you have the Dark Elf, the Shillian Elder. The key buffs there, Empower is huge for all the mages, and then Vamp Rage is huge for all the melee classes. So that is just a very key character for many people for many reasons, and later getting Prophecy of Wind, which allows you to keep your run speed, but still have some nice stats. And I think people who play those mostly are decided, so I won't go into anything more there. And then lastly is what we call the Enchanter classes. And me trying to see if I can adjust this slide up. Yeah, okay. So Prophet, very popular class at the start of the server. It's the standard buffer. It has all the buffs basically, and if you're not sure what class you want to go, you can start off as a Prophet, get it to 56, and then use it to power level any other character you have. It's a great, great class to have. In fact, that's a consideration for me. I'm still going through these classes and deciding. And a 56 prophet. You have all the buffs, and you're set until if for a server with the level 70 cap, there's not going to be Prophecy of Fire or other things. Sword Singers and Blade Dancers are key classes. They're both, Blade Dancer especially is a very good, character on its own to solo and so forth, although you definitely want the buffs. But Sword Singer, you got the Hunter Song for more crit rate, you have Song of Wind for more speed, you have the Vitality Song for more HP and so forth. These are all key classes for leveling, for parties and all those other things. Lastly, let's get to the orc buffers. So you have Overlord and Warcrier. So if not especially things, but otherwhere. Now they can use the dark spells. They can use Spell Singers with Empower. So moving on, we have the Warriors. Okay, this is where we have
I don't really want to play a
Tyrants and
warrior.
Destroyer craft. Tend to not do it on our original ally. I'm going to want a Temple Knight type of thing. Then you have Gladiator. Classes seem to fare better. Temple Knights, they are the fans that gets a pet, seem to fare better. Knights, which are tanks. So, okay,
Thanks.
Let's talk about them real quick. The most popular tank is the Dark Avenger. Why? Because it gets a pet. So you want to go ahead and consider that. It's a popular character and it's fun to play and these other things. Temple Knights, they are the fastest. And so if you're going to say, hey, I have a Warlord party, I need a tank to pull, I'm going to want a Temple Knight just because it's fast. It can serve as a puller, and it has its heal cubic. Remember the tanks have cubics and so forth. Some of them, so that's something to think about. SK, you have the cubic for Paralyze, which is powerful. It doesn't always land. In fact, it has a low success rate, but there are things you can do to increase the success rate. And it's a fun to play class. Excellion, our original ally creator and leader on Leona, he played an SK and it was a lot of fun. And then lastly, the Paladins, which are many considered the truest tanks. They're the human tanks. They have the most HP and they're the tankiest of the tanks. All right, so we got 2 class styles left. One is heal.
Okay, so I think that's actually a really good video. Good video. I liked how he covered all the classes. I think if we look at all the classes, the ones that appeal to me the most would be like, those are the ones I've listed out that I thought were most appealing. One would be like the Bishop if I wanted to be like a pure healer. The Elven Elder also was good at just recharging people's mana, keeping their mana pool up, reducing their weight, giving them shield buffs. And then the Shielding Elder had a lot of, I think it had lots of melee buffs. The wind buffs for speed, the Vampiric Rage, melee class buffs, and the power buff, Mage, spell power buff. So again, these are more of like healer buffers. The Prophet is just this is like kind of a standard buffer that has all the buffs. So this is like the all-in-one buffer. And then, of course, you've got the Sword Singers, Blade Dancers, which supposedly, basically, they can do damage, but by doing their songs, they're also empowering you to do more damage as well. So I think, we've got this. I think the Blade Dancer appeals to me quite a bit. When I originally played the game, I played a Dark Elf. I played a Dark Elf Warrior, I think, actually, which was like a Palace Knight. I believe. Let's take a look at. I hope I didn't close that window yet. I played a Dark Elf Warrior. There. Yeah, I played. I think it was this one. Yeah, I played a Knight, and I was a Palace Knight though, and I don't see Palace Knight here. Dark Elf Fighter. Oh, here it is. Here's Palace Knight. So you can see. You start off as a dark fighter, and then you have your first choices to either go assassin or Palace Knight. Assassin's where you're going to do all your damage. This is more of the PvP tree. I mean, you're going to be a really good PvP player if you go down to the Ghost Hunter. And then you can do Palace Knight, and then you can switch to either Shillian Knight or and my goal was to go Shillian Knight. I never made it, though, on that character, I don't think. Or we can go Blade Dancer. Since I may start off with a Dark Fighter, a Dark Elf Dark Fighter. And then the other... So that would be the Dark Elf going towards either the Shillian Knight or the Blade Dancer. I think both of those could be interesting. And then the Paladin's the tankiest. And then, of course, the Elf, he said, was just really fast. Like, the Dark Elves seem to be like... they have the lowest health pool, though. But let's take a look at what he says again about the Blade Dancer. Support dual sword has access to dances. Great support provided by the dances to both melee and mage parties. Can do a decent amount of damage. Has access to a variety of debuffs. Has no issues finding parties. Says low overall defense, expensive due to the need for dual swords to cast his dances, and can be boring due to play style. I'm not sure really how. I would wonder. I would like to know why he says it can be boring. And then the knight, the Shilling Knight, the Shilling Temper. Cubic Frights okay benefit to the party. Has access to a good amount of debuffs, high damage compared to other tanks, but overall a bit of a slow leveling experience. But again, these are the classes that I appeal to me. Fortunately, the classes that are really, really the strongest classes are the ones that don't really appeal to me, even, but they're like the most powerful, which would be the Phantom Ranger, the Phantom Ranger, Ghost Sentinel, the Ghost Hunter. These are really powerful classes, and then the Titan and the Grand Kavatari. These guys also are seem to be, from what I've read, very powerful. I'm not sure. Dwarven, and the Dwarven Fighter can go down to the Warsmith, the Bounty Hunter, Fortune Seeker. So, the dwarf classes are basically, these are the scavengers. So if you want to scavenge and gather resources, you pretty much, you don't have a choice. You have to be a dwarf. You got to go down this path. So, I'm tired. I think, and then what was the other ones we thought about maybe playing? So really, it's either going to be, either would be a human prophet, which probably is a really horribly low in character, or a human bishop. I like the bishop or the prophet for the human would be like the healer way to go. And I think, or I'd be going maybe like Blade Dancer. Let's see what he says about the prophet. Okay. Humans, warrior, knight. Okay, so undoubtedly the best healer in the game, has access to a decent amount of buffs. So that's the human bishop. Unquestionably the best healer, but it says extremely hard to level alone due to lack of damage against non-undead targets. Can be tough to play due to being very important part of. Can be tough to play due to being a very important part of every party. So yeah, you would be stuck if you pick that class. You pretty much have to get used to the idea that you're going to need someone to help you level, which on a private server that's been out for like 2 or 3 years might be really difficult because I don't know anybody. So I don't think it's a good idea to pick a class that's going to be hard to level solo because I just don't know anybody. So I go into the server, I'm going to have to play that on the server and actually find people and meet people, and then maybe when I make some friends or get into a clan, then maybe I can start an alt who is a buffer healer. So then if we look at the problem, same thing. Buffer has a wide range of buffs, debuffs. And again, pros has access to the highest amount of buffs out of any support. Great unique buffs for both melee and range. Can help to heal when needed. So overall, slow leveling experience due to lack of damage, mana issues. So I don't think picking, even though these sound like they'd be really cool in a group context, they'd be really terrible for solo leveling. So I think that takes us back down to the Dark Elf again. And I think we're stuck with either going with a Knight, Shilling Knight, or a Knight Blade Dancer. So the question is, Lineage 2, Shilling Knight, or Blade Dancer? Let's see what Reddit says. Blade Dancer with PP buffs and of course his own dance is better than Shilling Knight with just PP buffs, in my opinion. But you have a friend. But if you have a friend, Blade Dancer, make SK for sure. For solo PvP, Shilling Knight is greater than Blade Dancer for parties. Both are good. Blade Dancer will probably be more in demand. It's weird that he says the Shilling Knight's better, but that Blade Dancer will be more in demand. Group PvP, neither are great, but again, Shilling Knight is better. If your clan doesn't already have a main tank, Shilling Knight would be really useful for raid bosses. I'm on Aiden. I would say Blade Dancer for your playstyle. Farming solo with Shilling Knight won't go as quickly. Plus, in parties, everyone loves Blade Dances. Oh, God. The other route we could go, which I haven't really looked at it that much, would be a Rangers again. Let's go back. I want to watch that video and see what he said about the different Ranger classes. take a look at the various range classes. Wizard, Summoner. Here, let's look at the Archer section again. I'm curious.
And there are some other classes that summon. Such very popular is the Archer classes. Okay, so at the beginning of the server, Silver Rangers are going to be likely the most popular or the most useful Archer classes. They're the fastest, and they have self buffs. They have self windwalk, self shield, self might, so they can do more in those respects. Now, the Phantom Rangers are very nice. They're the most powerful of the archers. They hit the hardest. Also, they have a skill that I'm blanking on the name right now, but basically it allows them, when they get to low life, to do massive damage to the mob. And that is a way to level. It's a dangerous way to level, but it's very profitable because you kill in less hits, and it gets quite amazing with that class. And then lastly is the human, the Hawkeye. Those have the most HP. Those have snipe. They're amazing for sieges and other things. So, choose your archer class.
So, next question then would be Silver Ranger or Phantom. Was it Silver Ranger? Silver Ranger or Phantom Ranger. Go Silver Ranger. Unless you care about damage, then go Phantom Ranger. All I can say is that Phantom Ranger has a better burst than the Silver Ranger. He also has better overall attack stats, but he is a glass cannon. If you want to be able to have 2 disabler skills and be able to kill enemies fast, then go Phantom Ranger. If you want to have more consistency and better movement speed, then go Silver Ranger. Silver Ranger is not that far behind in damage. It has great mobility to go with it. I agree. In fact, it has more confidence damage, whatever that means. I'm top damage in CD every night as my Silver Ranger by a good 5 to 10%. I'm able to compete with AW bursts and be able to reposition easily. Silver Ranger is by far my favorite class in PvE and PvP. In PvP, develop a hit and run tactic. I'm top damage every night as my Silver Ranger. Interesting. I already did this side of the class, but I couldn't test PvE to other things. If you are standing still, Phantom Ranger, most DPS. But you'll never beat an equal geared AW PvP wise. Definitely Silver Ranger, more speed spill. Most DPS right class, but you'll never beat an equal gear AW, which whatever that is PvP wise. Definitely SR, more speed, skill, more evasion. And here's like a rundown of the Silver Ranger. Faster, both movement speed and attack speed. Quicker to level. Higher crit rate. Active skills Mind's Eye, increase crit rate. Double quick step, increases speed. Passive skill, swift movement speed. Higher DPS and burst. One of, if not the top DPS for bosses and clan dungeons. Slower. Still efficient at solo leveling. Active skills, rapid fire. Passive skill, critical sign. Chance to increase accuracy when attacking. Ultimately, they both do have different playstyles. Phantom Ranger far better for damage, but more vulnerable to attack. While the Silver Ranger can freely move and position better, albeit with weaker damage. Yeah, that's a really nice comparison right there. I like that. And then they're asking, what are you going to end up going? I'm still waiting for the new server to start with a new character. I'm thinking the only big difference between Phantom Ranger is the active buff skills, and those skills remain short. So first I will go with the Silver Ranger because of mobility, but I see a huge difference on DPS. Maybe I can change in the future. So yeah, I think... I don't know. So the question is, do we want to go Silver Ranger? These are humans, so how do I switch race? Class path? I mean, how do I... Let's go race. Here we go. I want to know how come there's no sound on this screen. Let's go exit. Let's... I don't really want to relog in. I'm just wondering why there's no sound. Okay, well, I guess there's no sound. Here's the dwarves. Okay, you get class, the warrior, and here's the female. The female dwarves are so cool. They just look like mini, like, Lara Crofts. I always think of these little dwarves. They're like the coolest looking dwarves in any game. Like in all MMOs, female dwarves are always ugly, except for Lineage 2. They're just so cool. And look at these faces. You know, they don't have a lot of options. We do have this. If you're going to go, you got to go with this hair, though. My favorite hair, of course, this one's always kind of funny, but my favorite hair has always been this one. Actually, this one's, yeah, I always go with this one. And then this face right here. So really cool looking. I love the way the dwarf females look in Lineage 2. And then we've got the Dark Elf, which are just the sexiest girls in the game, and one of the sexiest girls in any MMO, in my opinion. And my first character I ever created in what color? I think it was this hair color. This hair color here and this one here weren't available in the original game. When the game came out, those hair colors weren't available. It was either this one or this one, and I went with this one. My original character was this one right here. This is what she looked like, and she was a fighter. I think we're gonna go with, let's see, class path. Dark Elf. We could zoom in, but I guess we can't. So really the question is do I want to go Phantom Ranger or Silver? Let's take a look at the elves again. Now, if you go elf, here's the female elves. They're so skinny. I just like the dark elves. The dark elves are cool. Although their run animation, you'll see it when we get into the game. Their run animation is really awful. There we go. See, there is a zoom in. Yeah, so there's very, very little options on character creator. All right, that's pretty much it. And we're going to go with Shy. That name already exists. Yeah. And we want to be class path. Okay, so we're going to go towards Phantom. We're going to do Phantom Ranger. Walker, Blade Dancer. Man, I don't know. It's so tough. We could. Faster, both move speed, attack speed. Best TBS Archer one-shot many classes at later levels. Not as easy to XP at lower levels with so many nukers doing AoE trains. But if you make a good single target or solo duo trio with boxes, it's good. Just avoid mobs that nuke hard or resist archery. For solo and PvP is the best archer. Just get die plus strength and you will one-shot everything. It's an expensive character. If I was to play archer, my first option would be Phantom Ranger. My personal understanding of hockey is preferred for its high capacity to carry CP pods. Yeah, I think we'll stick with. I think we're gonna stick with Phantom. Dark Elf. How do you pick a class like fighter? I guess we start out as a dark fighter. I still can't believe there's no music, no sound in this game. Yeah, we still have yet to figure out the sound, so. And it does indeed look like it's a click to move game still. Which, like I said, I'm not a fan. I don't like click to move games, but Lineage 2 is a game that I played back a lot originally, so I was well aware of the fact that it was click to move. So for now, it's okay, but it's something we might want to look into changing if we can. Okay. If it is click to move, I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Where's the sound? Show party members the shielding temple. Move your mouse cursor to the spot to which you want to move and left click. Then you. I'm not moving. Try moving your mouse while pressing down the right button. Okay. This girl ain't moving at all. Game menu. No sound. Why can't I not adjust? It's like this game just does not detect sound. Oh, it's because it was muted. So I guess by default it starts out muted. All right, now we're in business. Now we can just figure out how to move. Oh, and the mouse wheel's reversed. It's always that way on Lineage. Like when I scroll the mouse wheel out, it zooms in. When I scroll it in, it zooms out. It's like flip-flopped. I'm gonna turn that off just for the moment. All right. Disable right click on mouse. Right click, not use. Here, reverse mouse wheel. We want that. Mouse click to move. Support gamepad. What? Okay, now the scroll wheel is working correctly. What is this thing around my character? Why is there this spinning thing? What is this? You have been cursed by a guardian spirit. No magic or physical skills can be used at this time. Curse befalls those who attempt to challenge a raid boss. Yeah, okay. I seriously doubt I've attempted to challenge a raid boss. It's the first time I played on the server. I'm looking for... Where's my actual... Oh, here it is. Wow, this is actually... I'm actually running at the right screen resolution. It's just that the game's obviously was scaled for different... It's an older game. So... I'm wondering if there's any way we can resize. Resize the UI. I don't think there is. Didn't seem to do anything, did it? No. Brightness slider doesn't seem to work either. It says right here, WASD movement, but it doesn't seem to work. I can't move. Oh, here we go. Whoa. Okay, that's not doing anything. I'm so confused. What does enter chat mean? It says it's where it says general, and it says WASD movement dash enter chat. I do not know what enter chat means. I don't know why I have this raid curse on me, and I'm wondering if that's why I can't move. It says no magic or physical skills can be used. Yeah, I mean, nothing's working. I think this weird debuff is what's screwing me up. Which is so weird because I just created this character, so why the hell would I... Here. It's so strange. Let's try something. Where's logout? Delete the character, if it'll let me. It takes... Oh, I hate it when servers do this. It's going to take me 6 days and 23 hours to delete this character? What kind of ridiculous...
First, enter the name of your character.
Oh, now
Next, select your character's race and class. Then select your character's gender and appearance.
Yeah, I get it.
First, enter the name of your character. Next, select your character's race and class. Then select your character's gender and appearance. After you have made all of your selections, click the character creation button on the right side of the screen.
Remember this hairstyle. Let's see if this character is locked and if she's got this weird buff, like raid buff. She's got it too. Look at that.
Welcome to Lineage 2. This is the strip mine of the Dwarves. All new Dwarves start their basic training in this place. Now you would take your first step to becoming a Dwarven fighter. First, I will explain the basic operation of the game. To listen to the instructions about this particular topic, click the link in the upper right-hand. First, you will learn how to move around in the game. To move your character from place to place, good work. Now, to change your point of view, good job. To return to the default point of view, POV, which means viewing the same direction your character is facing, right-click your mouse. After looking around, use this feature to look straight ahead again. Give it a try.
A question mark icon appears when there is something important you should know. Click the question mark when it appears to read the information.
Oh my god. Okay, well the keyboard doesn't work. Like, hold on a second. Why is there this music? I thought I turned the music sound off. Yeah, I turned the music off, but yet it's coming back.
Now try talking with a Newbie Helper.
Oh, shut
Follow
up.
the direction of the arrow above your character to find a new...
I'm going to mute all sounds. So, I'm having all kinds of problems with this client. Like, if I go down to chat and start typing in the chat window, well, now it's now it's kind of working. It wasn't working before. If I go to the trade chat, test, I'm having a hard time getting it to work. And that the stupid Reborn window keeps showing up. Welcome Charles server is a bit different, and we have some rules. And I can't read your rules. I mean, you're trimming it. Please take 1 minute to read. No botting, no real money trading. Discord, you're on our Discord. All rules, blah blah blah. Next. Toolbox is not allowed. We have many systems to avoid toolboxing. Install permanent pan. Please read the instructions and solve it. One of the systems is individual captcha. While you're playing a captcha may pop up in your game window, you will have to solve it. Antibot, it's an antibot. Please click cancel if 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. Please click cancel. Being in a party. Battlefield recharge as well as other actions may result in group catch-up popping up. Okay. Find this letter below and click on it. Find this letter below. Click on it. Congratulations. Good job, you finished the task. Remember this one players too. Discord, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So I think I had to go through all this so I could then move. See, it looks like my character can move now. So what they do is when you create a character on the server, you have this debuff, and you can't move until you go through these like little dialogue screens that teach you kind of about some of the rules of the server, which is kind of cool. And here it shows you your character. It shows you server time, game time, and it shows your experience SP rate. Which is your SP rate is your experience and SP rate, which is your skill points that you acquire. So they're all one. I mean, this is a very slow leveling experience server, so that's cool. So now that we know that we can move, and we can actually move with the arrow keys, which is cool. So you can actually move around with the arrow keys, and then when you want to stop, though, you're going to have to click somewhere, I think, because she doesn't really stop. Hold on a second. If you click on the screen, she'll move. But the clicking, it's kind of nice because you can move with the arrow keys, and then you can just, well, I can't click on the screen, though, once I'm moving with the arrow keys, which is weird. It's like it has to finish. I'm trying to figure this out. So if I hold down the forward and let go, like if I hold it down, if I just tap the W key and release it, she'll just move a little bit. So it's like it's the movement's based on like how long you're holding down the key. So if I hold down the W key for like maybe 2 seconds, 1001, 1002, then let go, she's gonna walk a little bit further maybe. Now the left click doesn't seem to be working right now, so I don't. So it's definitely strange. The movement is weird. You can see you're like, now the left click's working. So really, I mean, honestly, the way this game works, I would probably recommend that if you really wanted to play Lineage 2 on this server, I mean, really, click to move was the original way the game was designed, and it honestly feels a little bit more, feels a little bit better, almost, doing that. But you can just hold down W and use and move the mouse around. We're going to take out this gremlin here. I have the sound turned off. I'll turn it back on in a minute. One of my favorite things about Lineage 2, and I'll show you guys this when we turn the sound back on. I love this game. Lineage 2 is my first MMO, and I just love this game. I'm a big lover of Lineage 2. And I think it's that nostalgia of being the first MMO I ever played. But let's turn all the sound back. And we're going to put the environmental sound. System voice. C, and I'm going to get rid of, I don't want to, well, we'll leave the tutorial voice on for now until it starts to annoy the hell out of us. Okay, we'll have to change our key bindings, but just to show you. Oh, okay, so it looks like I don't have the sound on that. That's fine. But you can see even here, like, as old as this game came out in 2000, I think it was 2003, maybe? And then you hit the F.
You've just picked up an item. To find out what that item is, click the question mark icon.
Question mark icon, what?
Now try talking with the Newbie Helper. Move your mouse cursor over the Newbie Helper and left click.
Oh no,
Your target's name will then appear with 2 blue bubbles surrounding it, and your cursor will change to a chat icon. Click the left mouse button again to begin the conversation.
All right, so it looks like we're still missing some sound, I think. Yes. Okay, but one of the things I want to tell you, what's really cool in Lineage 2 is, and I think this should be in all MMOs, is when you kill something, the loot that they drop comes out of their body and falls to the ground. But what's so cool about it is it makes a sound, so you'll hear it. Like when I kill this gremlin here, right? So you could hear the ground, the money hit the ground, but you also, I leveled. I got to level 2, but you got to hear that money, and you heard it when I picked it up. So, but what's so cool about that is when you kill a monster, like gear dropping from monsters is really rare, but when you hear, like, let's say a shield drop from a monster, you'll hear it. It'll thud on the ground, it'll go thunk, and so it's really exciting when you, especially when you're AOEing a lot of monsters, and a lot of them drop a bunch of gear. It's cool because you get to hear it. It's very exciting. I think it's a really neat mechanic, and you just don't see that much. So anyways, let's go ahead and I'm still not, this will be my my artesian crafter. You know, this is the person who's going to gather materials. She'll be able to gather, like, you know, crafting regions off of mobs, and in Lineage 2, the only characters that can do that are really the dwarves. So, like, my Dark Elf warrior can't do that. She can never get crafting regions. All she can do is craft. She's always going to be reliant upon other characters or an alt of my own to actually get the regions. So you can't be like a miner and a blacksmith. You have to be one or the other on a class. So it's one of the unique things in the game. But okay, so we've got Cheryl, the Dwarven fighter, who can get regions. And we got the Dark Elf fighter. I don't really like the way she looks. Just stuck with the face that I...
First, enter the name of your character.
Oh my god,
Next,
shut up.
select your character's race and class. Then select your character's gender and appearance. After you have made all of your selections, click the Character Creation button on the right side of the screen.
Yeah, I like the way this character looks better. Okay, so we have to go through this tutorial thing. So we choose your language.
Welcome to Lineage 2. First, you will learn how to move around in the good work. Now, to change your...
A question mark icon appears when there is something important you should know. Click the question mark when it appears to read the information.
Now try talking with a Newbie Helper. Move your mouse cursor over the Newbie Helper and left-click. Your target's name will then appear with 2 blue bubbles surrounding it, and your cursor will change to a chat icon. Click the left mouse button again to begin the conversation.
Okay, so we did our little... So they do that. So I'm just wondering about the key bindings, like if it's worth going to the shortcuts and setting these up. So, like, for me, normally, like, here, cancel. I use Q and E, so something is set up as E in here somewhere. It didn't like me using E. All right, here, E, expands each shortcut window. Not really sure why we want to do that. It won't let us keep buying like mouse stuff because it's such an old game. Okay, so let's do. Doesn't want to let me move stuff. Must be locked.
You've just picked up an item. To find out what that item is, click the question mark icon.
There you can see like a ring or something dropped, like a blue gemstone. Okay, so, and there's macros, like, you're gonna eventually want to create macros, stuff like target near, and it'll make, like, combat much easier. Like, right now I can kind of move around pretty easily. But there's actually abilities, too, if you go into, let's see. Like here, you go to macro, you can say add a new macro, and you can go into the shortcut window here. Nothing in there. Here we go, go to the action window. And you can say I want to target. Like, there should be something that's like target. Attack, walk, run, recommend, pick up, assist, dual withdrawal, package sets. Should be one in here. These are social. Next to target. And what you do is you drag it over into the slot for your macro. So next target, we're going to drag this right here. Okay, and then we're going to drag attack. Okay. And then we're going to change the icon. Going to do something like that. And the macro name is going to be like attack. Save. And now we'll take this macro and we're going to put it on the 2 key, I guess, for now. So now we could just be, you know, and you can see other people are killing, and we can just click. If we wanted to, we could just click, but we can actually go up here and pick other people's money. In the original game, like, you get these people that were hardcore levelers, and they wouldn't, it was funny, they wouldn't even pick up anything that dropped unless it was something insanely good. Just in the effort of, like, speed leveling, they would just, you know, they would just kill and not pick up anything. But usually it was because they already had a character that had a lot of money. But anyways, let's try out our macro. We're going to hit the 2 key, and nothing happened. So much for my macro. I think I just was, maybe I was too far away. Yeah, so it does work, but at very, yeah, so it does work, you have to be fairly close to the monster. You can just like click close like this and then hit your macro. Still, it's too far away. So you have to be within a couple steps. I don't know what that sound was. Some weird stuff. So this is like the ultimate grindy game, right? So Lineage 2, like to level in this game, like this is 1x. So I mean, you saw how many monsters I've killed. I'm only level what, 2? And then the other thing too is, let's do here. You actually recover stuff faster when you're sitting down, when you rest. So you'll get used to actually using this sit stand because you can see my health is going up. It's going up a lot faster than it would if I was standing. But you'll have to end up creating a lot of macros, and the leveling is very slow. Like, for me to reach max level, if I played like 8 hours a day every day, it'd probably, since I haven't played this game a long time and I wouldn't really know, like, you know, where to go or what quests to do or anything, it would take me like months and months and months to reach max level. Like 5 months probably. I'm not even joking. Very, very grindy. Doesn't want to attack. I know. Yeah, so we're still gonna need that other. I'm gonna get myself killed. Okay, let's run up this way. Okay, run up this way, girl. Having troubles even moving now. Why is the click to move not working? Yeah, it's weird. It's like when you're going between the key bindings to move and click to move, and the click to move stops working sometimes. So. But let's go to... We're gonna have to put attack back up on here somewhere because he was not wanting to attack. Yeah, for some reason that macro is like broken or something. Let's kind of scary. But that's like one of the things you're gonna find out playing this game is you're gonna have to like figure out what macros are gonna work and like are they always gonna work? Like right there, my macros stopped working for whatever reason, so that's a really bad thing. See, like right there, I use my macro and it works, but it was strange. I think what it is it... Yeah, I'm not sure what it's doing. Wow, so you can see here they, like when the game first came out, none of this was in the game. Like there was no, like none of this. There was no like, there might have been a quest log, I don't know, but they certainly didn't show you like quest logs that already, that you could get. Like, you know, this was just empty. These would all be empty. So, very weird. This is not... I'm here. I think they want me to go to the... I'm assuming they want me to go to the Shielan Temple? Guessing that's what they want me to do. Dark Elven. Okay, so I wasn't at the Dark Elven Village. This is something else. Okay, that's what was confusing. Well, some of these things were able to, like I was able to resize the mini map, but Now you're coming into the Dark Elven Village. Which is actually really cool. And the first time I ever came here back in like 2000 was, you know, or 2002 or whatever it was. It's just very neat. All these quests. I'm just trying to see if do I even have a quest? The questing system I can't quite figure out. Yeah, so once I get to level 6, I can get a weapon exchange token, which I'll be able to go in and get myself a nice weapon. Here you can talk to the, you can buy equipment from these guys. Here's the store. And actually, is this what I currently have? It looks like it. Yeah, so I have all this. I have all my stuff equipped. Oh, you get enough money. You can buy your fighter equipment here, and you can see there's different things you can get. And it may not seem like a lot, but these numbers mean a ton. Like, see the physical attack? Like, right now I've got a sword that's got a squire sword. Physical attack 6, magical attack 5. When I go up to even this short sword, the 8, physical attack 8, magical attack 6, it's a big deal. Even just a couple points can mean, you know, can mean quite a bit. So these upgrades are no trivial matter. Anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna go to bed. I'm going to. I don't like how I can't delete characters though. Yeah, it kind of sucks that they. If you want to delete a character, they do this weird thing. Like, it takes like a week to delete your character. Anyways, this is Lineage 2. It's a really cool game. I mean, it's definitely, you know, for a game that came out when it did, I think it was fantastic. It was a very popular game. You know, millions and millions of people played it. And Lineage, the original Lineage game, was one of the most popular, and to this day is still one of the most popular MMORPGs in the world, which is really hard to believe, but it is. And but Lineage 2 is a really cool game. It's definitely, when you're playing 1x like this server is, you're looking at some hardcore leveling, because it's going to be very, very grindy. And so I may try some. We're going to delete this one. But this whole, like time thing is ridiculous. I'll have to look and see if there's any way we can speed that up. Because having to wait 6 days to delete a character is just ludicrous. So. Alright, now it says relog in, I guess. There you go. But super cool. Very nice to see a good private server, the Lineage 2 that's out there. Then there's a bunch of them out there, but this one is one of the most popular ones. But I think most of the people on the server are probably like, above level 50. So take me a while to get to that point, obviously. So anyways, I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to get some sleep. But yeah, I'll probably play a little bit more Lineage 2 tomorrow. And but I'll have to do some researches, figure out some macros and stuff, and see how we can make the gameplay a little bit more, feel a little bit more comfortable. You want to be in good control of your character. That's going to require a lot of macros and a lot of just getting used to the user interface and get everything set up the way it needs to be set up. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.